Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Ang subject na pag-aaralan natin ngayon ay pre-calculus na may topic na circles, equation in standard form and general form, the center of the circle, radius, and the graph of the circle. Ang ating learning competencies ay define a circle and determine the standard form of equation of a circle. Ang ating objectives ay define a circle, determine the standard form equation of a circle, and find the radius and graph the circles. Mga importanteng formulas na dapat natin malaman at balikan ay Pythagorean theorem, yung a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Ito ay tungkol lang sa right triangle. Then the distance formula, we have b equals the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared, where d is the distance between 2 points, and x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2 are the 2 points or coordinates. Then also, midpoint formula, ito yung gitna ng dalawang endpoint. Okay, so we have x sub m, y sub m equals x sub 1 plus x sub 2 all over 2, and y sub 1 plus y sub 2 all over 2. That's the coordinate of the midpoint. Okay, so we define a circle. It is generated if the plane intersects the cone perpendicular to the axis of the cone. The plane is horizontal while the axis of the cone is vertical. Okay, so the main parts of the circle, we have the radius, itong kulay pula, the center represented by point O, the diameter, okay, represented by green, the circumference of the circle represented by letter C. We have here a definition of a circle. It's a set of all points equidistant from a fixed point called the center of the circle. So this is the definition of a circle analytically. Okay. It's the distance between the center and any point on the circle is called the radius. Okay, I said that's the main parts of the circle. So the center is represented by HK. The radius is the line segment formed by the center and a point on the circle. It's represented by small letter r. The diameter is twice the radius. Center is the midpoint of the diameter. Okay. We are now on a standard equation of a circle, or this is the center radius form. We have the square of x minus h plus the square of y minus k equals the square of r, or r squared, where the coordinate hk, that's the center, and r is the radius. So we have here the illustration of the circle. Now, if the standard equation of a circle is represented by x squared plus y squared equals r squared, then the center is the origin, or the center has a coordinate of 0, 0. How about the general equation of the circle? It is ax squared plus cy squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals 0, where the coordinate hk is the center of this circle. Take note The general form of the equation of the circle has a coefficient of a and c for the x squared and y squared. Dapat pareho itong number. Kung 3 ang a, 3 din ang c. Then pareho din sila positive. Okay? And same coefficient. Kung 1, 1 din ang c. And so that will form a circle. Now, the shortcut in finding the center of a circle, so we have the coordinate negative d over 2 and negative e over 2. You can use only this formula if the coefficient of x squared, which is a, and the coefficient of y squared, which is c, are both equals 1. Kung hindi siya 1, kung greater than 1, ang gagawin nyo ay you divide first all the terms by the coefficient of A or C. Saka nyo magagamit itong formula na shortcut in finding the center of the circle. Example number 1. Find the radius and center of the circle if the endpoints of the diameter are -1, -2, and 7, 4. These two coordinates are the diameter or the points of the diameter or endpoints of the diameter of the circle. Now, to get for the center, it's better to use the midpoint formula. Tingnan natin kung talagang midpoint formula ang ginamit. In my slide, unahin muna natin ang radius. How to find for the radius? Use the distance formula. We have d equals the square root of x of 2 minus x of 1 squared plus square of y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Okay. Nang paggamit ng formula ito, kahit alin doon sa dalawang points ang gawin mong x sub 1 or x sub 2, basta pareho ang reference. Kung sa point 1, ang x sub 2 mo ay yung naunang point, yun din dapat ang sa y coordinate ang kukunin nyo. Then step 2 is substitute the given. So we have here -1 minus 7 squared and square of -2 minus 4. Then simplify. We have the square root of -8 squared plus the square of -6. Bakit -8? Because we are adding the same sign. -1, -7, adding the same sign is add the number and copy the sign. That is why we have -8. And we have here -2, -4, the same sign. So add the number is 6 and copy negative sign. A square of -8 times -8 is 64. -6 times -6 is 36. Then add 64 plus 36 is 100. And the square root of 100 is 10 units. That's the diameter. Get only the positive value because there is no length such as negative. Okay. Now, take note that 10 is the diameter, but you are going to get the radius. And the diameter is twice of the radius. Therefore, what will you do here is to divide it by 2. 10 divided 2 is 5. So the radius is 5 units. Laging may word na units kung hindi available yung unit of measurement. Okay. How about for the center of the circle? To get for the center is, it's better to use the midpoint formula. Okay, right? The midpoint formula and substitute the value. You are going to add the x coordinate. X coordinate 1 plus x coordinate 2 over 2. So we have -1 plus 7 all over 2. And for y, we have -2 plus 4 all over 2. Unlike sign, we subtract 7 minus 1 is 6. And that is positive 6 over 2 is 3. And then -2 plus 4, unlike sign, we subtract 4 minus 2 is 2. Positive 2 over 2. So 6 over 2 is 3 and 2 over 2 is 1. And this is the center of the circle. 3, 1. Okay? Nakuha? Very good. Okay, so another example. Suppose that the center represented by HK is at negative 1, 4. And the point on the circle is at 2, negative 2. Okay, 2, negative 2. Ito. Okay, so this one. What is the radius? So in this case, ang gagamitin nyo ay yung distance formula. But then, papalitan mo yung D ng R because it's already the length of the radius. Okay? So we have the radius is equal to the square root of the square of x minus 8 plus y minus k squared. And R8 is the center while x is the point on the circle. So we have 2 plus 1. Bakit naging plus? Kasi minus. Ang h value doon ay negative. Negative times negative is positive. And then, yung k ay positive 4. Kaya, retain yung minus because we have here y minus k. So, we have 2 plus 1 squared is 3 squared, which or 9. Negative 2 plus negative 4, the same sign. So, we add 2 plus 4 is 6. We copy the sign negative. Negative 6 times negative 6 is 36. 3 times 3 is 9. Then we add 9 plus 36 is 45. Square root of 45 in lowest term, we have square root of 9 times 5. Pag hindi siya perfect number, ang gagawin nyo ay mag-isip kayo ng dalawang number na yung isa ay perfect square. At yung isa ay prime number. Okay, so square root of 9 times 5. 9 is a perfect square of 3. That is why the radius is equal to 3 times the square root of 5, or approximately equal to 6.71 units. Okay. Another example. Okay. Suppose the given equation of the circle in general form is 2x squared plus 2y squared minus 16 equals 0. Determine the following. Number 1, equation of a circle in standard form. Number 2, the radius. And number 3, the graph of the circle. Now, our first step is to get the equation of the circle in standard form. Step 1 is write the general form of, or write the given. That's the given. And then simplify. To write this in a standard form, first step is to transpose negative 16 to the other side. It became positive 16. And copy the term in the left side, 2x squared plus 2y squared. Now, since may coefficient yung x squared and y squared na 2, we need to divide all the terms by 2. So we have x squared plus y squared. Then 16 divided 2 is 8. This is already the standard form of the equation. So ito na po ang sagot na x squared plus y squared equals 8. Letter B, the radius. How to get the radius? Since naka-standard form na siya, and then pag walang kasama yung x squared, it means that it passes the center is at the origin. So therefore, our radius is equal to 8. Or our center is at 0, 0. Since radius ang hinahanap dito, ang kailangan natin ay itong 8, yung constant number represented by r squared. So r squared equals 8. R, radius lang po ang kailangan natin. So get the square root of 8. But 8 is not a perfect number. So we need to factor 8 such that yung isang number is a perfect number. So we have a square root of 4 times 2. And 4 is a perfect square of 2. Then we copy 2 inside the radical sign. Itong hindi siya perfect number. So our radius is 2 square root of 2 or approximately equal to 2.83 units. Then how to graph? To graph is to plot the center. The center is 0, 0, the origin. And then determine the length of the radius. The length of the radius is 2 point something. So we have here. And then yan na po ang iikot natin to form a circle. Pwedeng clockwise or counterclockwise. And that's the circle. Another example. Given the equation of the center of the circle in standard form, this time standard form na po ang given. Square of x minus 10 plus the square of y minus 9 equals 9. Determine the following: the radius, equation of the circle in general form, and the graph. To get the radius, it's easy. Only the constant number at the right side. Just get the square root of that, and that's the radius. So therefore, the radius is represented by r squared, which is 9. So r equals the square root of 9, which is equal to 3. Square root of 9 is 3. Then you write the word units kasi walang unit. Get only positive. Do not include the negative kasi walang radius na negative. Okay. Letter B is the equation of the circle in general form. Write first the given in standard form. Then expand. Square of x minus 10. Okay. Ang shortcut nito ay square the first term. X times x is x squared. Then square or the product of the first and the second term times 2. So negative 10 times 2 is negative 20 times x is negative 20x. And square of the last term. The last term is negative 10 times negative 10 is positive 100. Then you do that the same procedure for the second term. Square of y is y squared. Then y times negative 9 is negative 9 times 2 is negative 18y. Then negative 9 times negative 9 is positive 81 equals 9. Then after this is transpose 9 to the left. When we transpose, you change the sign, it became negative 9. Then simplify. We rearrange, mauna na yung x squared, then y squared, followed by yung x, negative 20x, followed by yung y, negative 18y, and combine the similar terms. Ano yung mga similar terms? We have 181 and negative 9. Ito na lang ang i-combine. Kukopyahin na lang itong x squared plus y squared minus 20x minus 18y plus 172 equals 0. Bakit 172? 100 plus 81 is 181. Minus 9 is 172 equals 0. So this is now the equation in general form. And then how to graph? Get the center. The center is at 10, 9. Nandito. And then the length of the radius. Our length of the radius is 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. And then form a circle, a curve, counter or clockwise. I-rotate mo na. And that is now the graph of the equation of the circle. Another example. Given the equation of the circle in general form, 2x squared plus 2y squared plus 6x minus 8y plus 12 equals 0. Determine the radius, the center, and the equation of the circle in standard form. So, madali on man sa ng center kaini. So, sabi ko nga, may shortcut tayo, negative d over 2, negative e over 2. But then, yung x squared ay may coefficient na to, you need to divide first 6 by 2 is 3. So, magiging negative 3 over 2. 8 divide 2 is 4. So, positive 4 over 2. Ganun lang po ang shortcut. Okay, the center of the circle. So we have, oh, take note, we copy first the equation in general form. Since yung x squared ay may coefficient na 2, we need to divide all the terms by 2. So we have x squared plus y squared. 6x divided to is 3x. Negative 8y divided to is negative 4y. 12 divided to is 6 equals 0. The next is to transpose positive 6 to the other side. It became negative. So anong ginagawa natin? We are changing this general form to standard form. Okay? Now, if you notice, may bakante. Bakit may bakante? So we complete. So we apply completing the square to complete the terms for variable x and the terms for variable y. Okay. Now, since kulang siya to make it trinomial, so dadagdagan natin yung variable x ng isang term, dadagdagan mo rin sa other side ng parehong number. Same for y, kung anong idadagdag dito to make it at perfect square trinomial, ganun din ang idadagdag mo sa kabila. How to do this? Get the middle term of x, which is 3, divide it by 2, and that's 3 halves, then square it. Square 3 halves, which is 9 over 4, yun ang ilalagay mo. Yun ang idadagdag mo, at yun din ang ilalagay mo sa kabila. Same sa variable y, we have negative 4, divide 2 is negative 2, square it is 4. Then, i-add mo rin sa kabila 4. Okay. Now, after that is to factor all these terms na may x including 9 over 4. This is a square of a binomial. Same for y squared minus 4y plus 4. Also square of a binomial. And what is that? Yung next step nyo ay gawa kayo ng parenthesis. Get the square root of x squared, which is x. And get the square root of 9 over 4, which is 3 halves. At saan itong galing plus? Kinokopya lang yung sign na plus ng 3x at yung minus sa sign ng 4y. Saan galing ang y? Sa y squared. Saan galing negative 2? Square root of 4, which is 2. Saan galing itong negative? Dito sa coefficient, sa sign ng 4y. Then square. Simplify the right side. Negative 6 plus 9 over 4 plus 4. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Plus 9 over 4 is 1/4. Paano nakuha? Negative 2 plus 9 over 4. Ang gagawin mo, i-multiply mo lang itong denominator doon sa negative 2 is negative 8. Plus 9, unlike sign, negative 8 plus 9 is 1 over 4. This is now the standard form of a circle. And how about the radius? Represented by HK. Our h is the opposite of 3 halves, which is negative 3 halves. And our k is the opposite of negative 2, which is positive 2. Okay, how about the radius? Ito lang na 1/4 ang represented by the radius. Get the square root of 1/4. So we get the square root of the numerator, which is square root of 1, and the denominator is square root of 4, and that is perfect, which is 1/2. So that's the radius. The radius is 1/2. Okay. Thank you so much. And then